afternoon, YouTube. I'm the City Prepper. Today is July 14th, 2024. So the title of the video is An Attempt Was Made. They tried to remove protection and world events. Let's dive into that. A few months ago, Nancy Pelosi and the left proposed a bill that would strip Donald Trump of his Secret Service detail, which means he would have zero. Any former or current president has Secret Service protection for the duration of their life. It's a law, it's on the books, it's been that way for, I couldn't even tell you. All I know is that if you're going to take away the protection of a former president and berate him through the streets the way that they're trying to do, it shows that they're doing it to show a clear and concise message. It was stopped, thank God, and as a result, he still has Secret Service protection. And whether you think there are lapses in that protection, that's not being debated or talked about here, but it just goes to show you that there are issues. There are issues in this world, and it is a scary, scary environment, especially in today's current events. Ways to protect yourself is to be ready, to be prepared, which is what this channel was conceived about. Being prepared, always. I talked about in yesterday's video having the ability to have a first aid kit readily available and to go to yard sales and look for these items. Upstate New York, where I am today, I came across this at a yard sale for $5, and it is jam-packed with stuff that is useful. You have bleed stop, which is good till February of 2026. You have compression bandages. You have a tourniquet. You have Mylar blankets. You name it is in here, all for $5. Why is this important? One, if you are on a budget like most of us are, it is beneficial to have things at low cost. Two, you free up your preps for your money for other preps, whether it be long-term food storage, whether it be a more comprehensive medical kit, or your self-defense weaponry. Now, to that topic, this channel is always preaching doing things the right way, doing things the way that will get you out of trouble and keep you out of trouble. Do not go and acquire something that you are not legally allowed to have. That is going to be asking more questions and causing more issues for yourself. And if you are not available because now you are tied up in legal trouble, you're not going to be available to lead and guide your family through a hardship that is coming. Which brings me to my next topic. There was a question that was asked about me earlier today by a viewer about a reverend, or there was somebody that talked about a prophecy about what's going on in this current situation with Donald Trump. He had claimed to have knowledge of this months ago, and I'm waiting for that person to ask it in the thread. But basically, this individual talked about there is going to be an economic crash to come, which is going to be worse than the Great Depression. So I'm going to wait for that person to ask that question. If they don't, we'll get to it in another video. What I'd like to talk about is the mindset, having that drive, that mindset to help yourself, to help others. It is a very demanding mindset. Being one that leads groups through hikes and walks and survival situations in my off time, I teach a lot of my friends, my relatives, on how to survive in the wilderness, what to look for as far as medicinal herbs, which was actually, a lot of that information came from Dr. Quinn, and you know who you are. It is important to know how to utilize all of your preps. It is important to know when to use your preps, when to not use your preps. For example, things that are in this kit, like sucking chest wounds, you need to know how to use that. You need to know how to use a tourniquet. These are the things that will save your life. You do not want to be a paper prepper. Here's the question. Brandon Biggs predicted this 4 months ago about Trump getting injured and said something worse than the Great Depression is coming. How would you prepare for this? So I've talked about the bullets, beans, and band-aids, your long-term food storage, your self-defense, and your comprehensive medical kits. I also have talked about in the past and actually gave away on this channel gold, actual physical gold. There are websites, one that I'm not affiliated with whatsoever that I utilize is JM Bullion, jmbullion.com. You actually can buy physical gold and silver. I personally like to have a cache of currency. I like to have gold, silver on hand for this reason. And if all else fails, I will have to rely on my preps. Hence why I have a camping trailer that is in the woods near a fresh water source. It's near a fishing supply, and I do have that skill set to survive in the woods if I needed to. How does that translate to the everyday person? Not everyone is going to be able to come out into the woods and survive. It's a very difficult thing. A lot of people think that, oh, I've been camping, it's fine. It's actually a lot harder than most people think. I've actually tried many weekends, Megan will attest to it, where we will only eat the meat that we catch, meaning we're only going to catch fish, and if we don't catch any fish, we're only eating vegetables. It's very difficult to do that. How do you circumvent that? You have to have long-term food storage. You have to have the ability to renew, whether it be your energy or your food. Have seeds, know how to grow, know when the growing seasons are in your environment, know when the growing seasons are in the environment you might navigate to, and have tons of seeds. A problem that I've also encountered is that the packaging and seeds that you get in the stores aren't exactly weatherproof. I've left seeds in the garage, and whether it was animals got into it or moisture got into it, ruined the packaging, hence I was not able to have those seeds. You need to store those in a way that are going to protect them from animals, from the elements, from moisture. Having them in a Mylar container, having them that Mylar container in a glass jar is a way to protect those seeds. These are things that I've come across trial and error. And again, practicing your preps, knowing what food source you're going to like. Meaning, I like Mountain House. I like My Patriot Supply. Wise is okay. Again, it's food at the end of the day, but you also have to know what you're interested in. If you don't like it, or your children, your nieces, nephews, grandkids, your significant other does not like the food storage that you have, it's going to become an issue. It's going to become a problem for you, because now they're not getting the correct nutrients that they need to survive, and then making the whole thing a little bit more difficult. Another way is to can and jar and to make your own survival preps. But again, if you have the time to do that, you have the resources to do that, then that's an option for you. Having chickens, livestock is another way. If you have the land, maybe it's a good idea to have chickens in your background. New York City, I know you're allowed to have, I believe, up to 4 egg-laying chickens in your yard. I don't think you could have a rooster. So that is one way of preparing for an economic collapse. Also, get out of the cities. A lot of the big prepping channels are talking about it. You might not be able to if you're listening to this video and you are tied because of a job, or you're tied because of a family situation. It is difficult. It makes it more harder for you. But if you were able and fortunate enough to have the ability to get out of the city, or to have land, or to have a camping trailer, I would look into doing that. On the topic of prepping, will his security prepare differently for the next event? I do not know the answer to that. And for security concerns, I obviously cannot talk about that. I cannot talk about any of that. Even if I did, which I do not, that is a big no-no. Because even if I did have knowledge, putting it out there is not a good idea. Should they prepare differently? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a major threat, clearly, and you should prepare differently. But again, will they prepare differently? That's a thing to be seen. Of the four of you that are currently on, does anybody have any questions? Or Megan, do you have any other questions? Welcome to those that are just signed on. If you have any questions, we're taking some questions right now. If not, I'm going to talk for a couple more minutes about what to do for survival. If there are no questions, I will be logging off around the 12-minute mark. Practicing a skill set. One that I enjoy doing with my family is fishing. General Saro, hi, how are you? Hope all is well. Fishing is something I like to practice. It's therapeutic for me, but it's something that will keep me in that prepping mindset. I like to find certain areas where I am that are low-key, that are not often fished, and give me the ability to get in, to get out, because once there is an issue, everyone's going to be trying to get that same food source. It's not simple. A lot of people think, oh, I'll just go shoot squirrels and eat that. If you've never eaten squirrels before, it's not tasty. What's going on, Texas? How are you? I'm happy you are doing well. I saw you reach back out on the group thread, and I'm happy to be here for everyone. So hope all is well with you and continues to stay well in Texas. If there are any questions, if not, I will continue for another minute and then I will be signing off. Practicing skills are important. Keeping a positive mindset is even more important. The psychological advantage, the littlest, will help you get through that situation. I've talked about it previously, and I will continue to talk about that more so now than ever because I'm rebranding the channel to also talk about that. The psychology behind a survival situation is probably just as important, if not more important, than your gear. I've trained in all sorts of weather. I have gone to temperatures below freezing. I've gone swimming in a lake in a below freezing temperature, and I know how to deal with it. Why? Because I've practiced. I follow Wim Hof. For those of you, that's the Iceman. He sets records going into the snow. But I've conditioned my body to be in those climates. I've also conditioned my body to be in extreme temperatures. That is not for everyone. If you have elderly people that are inside of your community, you have to think about that. You're going to have an elderly individual, which I do in my family. It's not easy for them to go into a tent. That's why behind you I have a camping trailer, which you cannot see. It is meant to get me, it's actually the Glacier package, which is meant to go into freezing temperatures. I have heat, I have 2 30-gallon propane tanks. I have the ability to have renewable energy, whether it's through the solar panels. I have fire behind me to cook on my food. I have blankets. I have, you name it, I have in this trailer. I also have that with me in my truck. I have that with me in my wife's truck. I have that everywhere that I know I'm going to be. In this world right now, preparedness is key. You need to be mentally prepared and you need to be physically prepared. I cannot preach that enough. We are seeing it go live right before you, between what's going on in Israel, what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, what had just happened here yesterday, what's going on continuously in our country, whether it's the political divide, that we have a major one, the natural disasters that we're suffering left and right, or, for example, the bridge crash that happened in, I believe it was Maryland. I think it was the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now that cut off a supply chain, that cut off an egress for a way for somebody to exit. You need to think about these things. Again, mindset and being prepared are the two things I'm going to be driving home every time I make a video. You need to be mentally prepared to get through anything in life. Life is not easy. I've seen it. Others on this channel have seen it. Life will run you over quicker than anything else. Perfect example. I believe it was. I don't want to misspeak, but there was a bystander. I don't remember if it was a woman or a male that was shot, killed yesterday at that rally. They just came to enjoy a rally and they were murdered. And life can happen like that. Life can happen. Doesn't mean that you should not be prepared for that. You should not be prepared for anything in life. You should be prepared to handle any situation that comes your way. If there are no questions, I will be signing off. Again, please like, subscribe, and share this video. We have to get this algorithm back out so the message can get out. I'm going to continue to make videos. Even if I have 6 of you on here every night, whether it's the 80 views I got yesterday, people need to hear this message. I will keep coming back on day in and day out, so I'm reaching everyone. I am still on Telegram. Hit me up on cityprepper718 at Gmail. So then I'm at Gmail. Cityprepper718 at ProtonMail. Cityprepper718 at ProtonMail.com. Hit me up on there, and I will give you the thread or the handle for the City Prepper Telegram group, so we can all talk. We can talk freely. Again, no violence, no racism, no negativity. We're not dealing with any of that. We're talking about current events. We're talking about prepping. There is no tolerance, zero tolerance for any violence, and there's zero tolerance for any hate or racism. If you can abide by those, then you are more than welcome to join the City Prepper thread on Telegram. All right, guys, I'm going to go fish with my family. Stay tuned for further and continue to prepare. Have a great night.